Well, hello everybody. This is Boot Flaws and Stuff, and we're going to talk about today thinking outside the box versus staying in the box. We hear a lot of people talking about you should think outside the box. But what about the ones that's been in the box for so long and that's all that they know is their own surroundings, and they don't want to go out of their boundaries. They don't want to go out and they don't want new people coming in. But people constantly saying, oh, you need to think outside the box. To think differently, unconventionally, or from a new perspective. The question is, it says, to think from a new perspective. Whose perspective? Whose point of view? When you're so used to doing things your way for so long, you really don't want to go outside the norm. You're that's your normal, you know? To challenge yourself, it says you're thinking to other possibilities other than what's in your box, your norm. Sometimes we challenge ourselves because we keep hearing you need to think outside the box. So it's more like you're in your comfort zone. New possibilities can be amazing, they say. I say they say because if let's say if I'm in a box, and I'm only going to say they say because you don't know, you're in a box. They say, oh, new possibilities are out there, and they're amazing. You should challenge yourself. But what if you fail? That's what they're thinking. What if what if I don't make it? Then what? I didn't come out my comfort zone, listen to someone else, and they're saying think outside the box. You can do great things. But when you fail, do you try again? Or do you go back to what's normal to you inside the box? We fall down, but we get up again. We dust ourselves off and we try again, they say. But the next time we try again, we should do it a different way, right? We should do it a different way. We got to think of a different way to do it. We are challenging the norm, our comfort zone, what we're used to being. And the people that's in the box, a lot of times they're not used to change. They don't know how to cope with change. There are various skills to be able to think outside the box, they say. I'm saying they say because I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be the person that's in the box. And I'm going by what other people are saying. That's why I'm saying they say. There are various skills to be able to think outside the box, they say. Be creative. Go for change. It helps you to grow. That's in your everyday life, your business life. YouTube is a business. Ability to consider different opinions and possibilities. A lot of times, some people that are in a box, They're used to their own opinions. They're comfortable in their own space. They don't want to hear nobody else's opinions because they're not used to it. It's not normal to them. Why should we think outside the box? Why should we surround ourselves with people and subjects that are outside our area? This is what a person inside the box, afraid to come out, afraid to think outside the box. That's what they're thinking. Why should I think outside the box? Why should I surround myself with other people, other subjects, other things that are outside my area that I know nothing about? I don't even care to know. That's what the person inside thinking. I don't care to know. I'm comfortable. Doing the thing, okay, it says, doing these things exposes us to new things, new perspectives, new ideals, new people, ways of doing things that we wouldn't normally do alone, by ourselves. The keyword, exposes. Someone in their comfort zone, they're comfortable. Remember, they're comfortable. That's their normal. They don't want to be exposed to certain things. They're afraid to be exposed to certain things that they know nothing about. Think about it. Thinking outside the box allows us to get rewards outside of our reach. That's what they say. You can do this. If you do this, you'll get rewarded. So it's just like you're stepping out of your comfort zone. I'm going to read a few quotes. Think before you speak. Read before you think. Here's another one. If everyone is thinking alike, right, then somebody isn't thinking. Is that a true statement? If everyone is thinking alike, then someone isn't thinking. It is difficult to think outside the box because thinking is the box. Is that a true statement? Something to think about. You have to change your thinking if you desire to have a future different from your present. Let me read that again. You have to change your thinking if you desire to have a future different from your present. Okay. If you can change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Is that a true statement? There's another one. If everyone has to think outside the box, maybe it is the box that needs fixing. Hmm. The last one, I want to elaborate on. I'm thinking, okay, if everyone has to think outside the box, maybe it is the box that needs fixing. I'm thinking the box is the body, is the person. All these quotes that I'm thinking about, the box itself is us. It's us. Think outside of ourselves. I found this little, it's about a pig. It's a little story. It's about a pig and the wolf. And it's all about perspective, our perspective. Okay, the pig says, I was at home quietly minding my own business. You'll be at home minding your own business, and then someone knock on the door, didn't call, it uninvited, you don't feel like being bothered. Okay, the pig says, I was at home quietly minding my own business when I heard a knock at the door. I looked outside the window and I saw a wolf. I didn't open the door, so the cruel wolf, he huffed and he puffed and he blew my house down. The wolf says, I was simply trying to borrow a cup of sugar from the little pig. He was talking about him. He was trying to borrow some sugar, a cup of sugar. Next door, because my dear grandmother needed some sugar. I knocked on his door, but he didn't open it. I've been dealing with this nasty cold and suddenly I sneezed. Achoo! Unfortunately, the impact of my sneeze blew the pig's house down. Point of view. From whose perspective is the story? Did anybody get that? Okay, I'm going to play a little short video about how to think outside the box. For the ones that don't know, maybe you're still in that box and you want to stay in the box.
5 tips you can use to think outside the box. Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this week's video. How good is your thinking game? Stay tuned as we discuss tips that you can use to be an outstanding thinker. Think outside the box is one of the most worn-out business and personal development cliches. You've probably encountered several blogs, books, and speakers who always tell you to think outside the box. But how many people actually do it? Harvard Business Review conducted an internal review, asking employees to state how many times they saw their senior leaders think outside the box. The results were surprisingly disappointing. Only 29% of the employees answered often or always. 42% answered never or almost never, while 42% answered sometimes. While the urge to think outside the box is held in high esteem, it's evident that there's an apparent disconnect between what people say they'll do and what they actually do. How many times have you seen people think outside the box? More importantly, how many times do you think outside the box? In simple terms, thinking outside the box can be described as thinking beyond the norm, or being a nonconformist. Put simply, thinking outside the box does not mean that you need to defy gravity. It simply means that you need to be innovative with your ideas and solutions. In today's video, we're going to discuss tips that you can use to think outside the box, both in business and beyond. 1. Learn how to question the status quo regularly. Since childhood, we're bombarded with systems of doing things. We're told that we should go to school, work hard, get good grades, go to college, and get that dream job. However, over the years, it's become evident that this system of life doesn't work for everyone. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to school and perform well. Education's important. However, sometimes you need to question the norm and learn to ask why. Some of these systems may have worked for years, but might not be your solution. Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard and quit his computer science degree to co-found Facebook, and is now a multi-billionaire. He's not alone either. Apple co-founder Steve Jobs also dropped out of college to start his company with Steve Wozniak. Bill Gates also dropped out of college to create Microsoft with Paul Allen. If someone presents you with information that you don't understand, you should challenge yourself to read more and question more. Ask why you have certain traditions at your workplace, especially if you think they're holding your company back. 2. Expand your knowledge. We often wound up following the same path due to limited knowledge. To expose your brain to different ideas, you need new knowledge. There are several ways to do this. You can choose to take a class in a different industry. For example, if you're a banker, you can try learning how to write. While writing may not exactly be something you're gifted in, it will give you a new skill that you can use to discover a new career path, such as writing the banking section of a blog or newspaper. By creating a linkage between the two industries, you also open up the opportunity to become a better banker. You can also try learning a new culture to help you relate to different people around the world. While this doesn't mean that you have to conform, it will open up your mind to a different way of thinking and make it easier for you to relate to different people. Lastly, you can read books and novels outside your usual genre to stimulate your mind. Instead of going for your typical romance novels, try picking a political classic today and get a better grasp on world politics. Successful people like Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, and Bill Gates read, and so should you. 3. Mind mapping. Mind mapping is a technique that allows you to map out an idea. Essentially, you'll have the central concept in the middle of the map, and then expand the idea outwards into other boxes. For instance, I need to create a new blog about digital marketing. Since it was the main idea, I put it in the main box. I then drew other boxes connected to the main idea with different aspects of digital marketing, such as social media marketing, email marketing, content marketing, affiliate marketing, SEO, among other things. I then broke down each element into smaller branches until they turned into topics I could work with. For instance, social media marketing would require a detailed analysis of different platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and others. With my simple mind map, I discovered an easy way to expand an idea. 4. Drawing an image. Visualize the problem you're facing and draw images to help you solve it. With an image, you can map out all the aspects of your issues and write down solutions to each element. For instance, maybe you have several bills to pay that all have different deadlines. You can draw a box with all the bills you have to pay and accompanying dates. Then, have another box with all the income you have coming in on specific dates. As you look at both boxes, you'll have an easier time remembering everything you need to pay and match it to a date when you have enough income to afford the bill. You can also create a visual image of what the box means for you. For example, a while ago, a good friend of mine wanted to expand his business, but he didn't have enough capital. He decided to draw a box and wrote the name of his company in the middle. His mind was restricted to picking loans, and he wanted to come up with a different strategy. He wrote all sources of money he could think of around the box, from friends and family, a bank loan, investors, selling off some of his furniture, or cutting down some of his expenses. He then detailed all the pros and cons of each money source in other boxes. After exhausting all his sources of capital, he started canceling them out, beginning with those that had the highest cost. He could not sell any of his furniture because he needed the furniture. He reviewed all his expenses and realized he was working on a minimum. He could not pick a bank loan because the interest rates were too high, and the capital would cost him more than necessary. He could also not pick a loan from his family or friends because he needed them for extremely urgent emergencies. This left him with one option: finding a partner who would invest in his business. It paid off in the end, and he managed to expand his business without bankrupting himself. 5. Think like a competitor. Thinking like a competitor in business is extremely beneficial. For this exercise, I would encourage you to have a brainstorming session. Ask yourself or team to think like a competitor by pointing out some of the weaknesses you see in the business and possible solutions for the problems. You can also get ideas for new trends in the industry your business should take advantage of to stay ahead. This technique also works in one's personal life. Imagine if you're applying for a job and have gotten to the final interview stage. Congratulations! Only one of you will be hired, and you need to have more skills than your competitor. What skills are missing, and what can you do to gain those skills? What are your thoughts on thinking outside?
This is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching, listening. This is Books, Flaws, and Stuff. See you guys on the next video. Thank you. God bless.